Okay, guys, so this video has no intro, barely even an outro, but you guys are going to watch how I turn this block of clay into a candle sculpture. Let's get into the video. Oh, wait, before we start, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And this is a different type of content, but I hope you guys enjoy it. So recently, I took a wild risk with my business. As you guys know, I originally started out with just making jewelry and candles. Now we are up to crystal cat collars, crystal dog collars, keychains, journals. You guys already know. But now we're starting a new aspect or journey, whatever you call it. We're going to be making clay sculptures. Now, I just went and got Sculpey clay because I didn't want to invest in it and then it flop, or invest in it and I don't really know how to work with clay. I had to make sure I knew what I was doing first. So here is one of my first of 3 sculptures. I have only made 3 so far, but I really love these. I seen the idea somewhere on TikTok. It was like a candle holder. You're gonna need a glass of water because now we're about to smooth everything. Yeah, I didn't mean to say candle holder. I meant to say like it's a candle in a candle holder. So you guys can get these candle holders from Amazon, but the clay, you have to find like multiple sources to get the clay. So I got all my clay tools and I started my 3rd attempt at this candle sculpture. It looked different than when I first started. I initially started out with a smaller design, as you guys can see in the back, and I had a couple of trial runs in the oven, but I'm learning now what I need to be doing. So right now I'm flattening the clay. This clay dries once it's baked. However, if it does not have water, it will feel as though it is dry, but it's not completely dry until it's baked. So right now I'm cutting out the hands. I wanted to go for something like strong, like a Macho Man candle, almost like bodybuilder, right? But then I said, you know what, like let's not do it up too much. Let's go for Beauty and the Beast. I forgot what his name is. I literally forgot what his name is. Hold on. Okay, his name is Lemire. I'm not sure of the proper way to pronounce it, but I do know I grew up on cartoons and like watching Beauty and the Beast, and I feel like he was really the main character for real. So the most memorable thing about him was that his hands were torches as well, and then he also had a little fire at the top. So I wanted to do the very same thing, but I wanted to bring it into like the little frog marshmallow witchy world that we have over on TikTok. And I was like, how can I animate this character to have big eyes, look grumpy, and be witchy? And that's when I was like, ooh, let's go for red eyes, and then we can do red torches as the hands. So what I'm doing now is I'm adding water to the mouth. I'm trying to get the clay soft enough again so that I'm able to sculpt the mouth. What I learned about clay sculpting is like, bro, it's not for the weak. Sometimes you can sculpt a clay piece in like, what, 30 minutes? But smoothing that piece out can take about a couple hours, like 4 to 3 hours. Of course, it took me longer because, you know, I'm just a beginner. But it can take a long time to really get that mouth to smooth into the rest of the candle part. So right now I'm mushing down the mouth. I laid down my eyes because I needed to see where my eyes would go. I like the big froggy bug eyes for my pieces. I think that's what I'm going to go for because having a witchy business that works with crystals and stuff, I felt like the connection for me branching out to sculptures was going to be like buggy eyes, or like making monsters, making like drooly ghouls, just making crazy witchy items. Okay, so for the eyes, you just take 2 thin pieces of clay and then put the eyes on, like press them on and put them around the eyes, and then you fill in the back. So now let's go ahead and fill in the back of his face. I didn't draw on the mouth yet because I want him to be angry, but I don't know how I want his face to be. So he looked kind of like, he looked already mad. So here is where I add the twist. I want him to look like he has a smart mouth. And I feel like, how are you going to have a smart mouth if your mouth isn't big? Like, you have to have a big mouth, period. So I'm adding his little eyes here. It looks like little spaghetti pieces, and I'm stacking them up, and then I'm about to start smoothing them. and that's going to make that little eye socket look. Later on, we're going to add like some textures to the eyebrows and then go behind the eyes and do just some dots, almost to make it look like a burnt marshmallow. I don't know how this happened, but the candle ended up looking like something off of Amphibia mixed with a marshmallow melting and a candle melting. Anywho, this is the process that takes a lot of time. So right here, I'm using another one of my tools to make the eyes smooth. I'm sure you notice how smooth it looks now versus how it looked before. All right, guys, we are almost done making it smooth. It's a lot smoother than that one. You can tell I really learned a lot. You see? Do you see? Exactly. This one's bigger though. I like this one. This one's like a strong macho man. We're gonna do some more muscles and some hands, but I gotta smooth this out first and get a mouth on it. So yeah. So initially when I first got my clay sculpting tools, I felt like I was using them the wrong way, but there is no right way to use these clay sculpting tools. So I used that to make his little lip here, and look at the texture that added on to his eyes. I think it was the color. If this candle was any other color, I feel like I wouldn't have said like, oh, it's giving marshmallow. So we started this project at about 2 o'clock and ended at 10. And then we also dragged it until tomorrow. I'm using some Sculpey to help bond the glue with the clay that I'm putting on top of the wire. And I also had to get a little bit in the hole at the top of the head so that I could stick the wick in. Now this is just a piece of wire, guys. Later on, we're gonna make our little fire float, but I have to build the base for the hands. Right now, my hands look flimsy and they look like they have like weird muscles and sort. So let's work on smoothing that out because that looks crazy. So I decided to do some eyebrows. I took a little piece and rolled it like spaghetti. Okay. All right, guys, I'm literally running out of storage, so I have to see y'all at the end, period. So here's me after it is smoothed out. This has took a long time, even to get that fire at the top. Now I'm ready to start adding textures to my eyebrows. I'm going back and forth, up and down, side to side with this little pointy silicone brush, and that just makes it look like hair is naturally floating on his face. I decided to name him Blaze because his eyes gave like fire and he's a candle, and I wanted to name him like Mr. Mellow, so I went with like Blaze Mellow, like Mr. Longbottom. You know how his name is like one name, like Mr. Longbottom from Harry Potter? His name is Blaze Mellow. Like, I love it. It eats it up, and he's just mad. He's always nagging. But the arms definitely look a lot better. They're giving noodle arm. I think there's something I'm going to do to like smoothen this guy up, or the drips are going to bring it together. I don't know. Okay, guys, so now that we have the base of the bod, I am going to start cutting out the slime. I'm using another cutting tool, and it's almost like drawing. It's kind of like I'm drawing the slime up and down and making it just real slimy. Now I'm going to pull that apart. When you pull it apart, you're going to have a reflection that kind of looks like it, but in reverse. Sometimes this process can take a long time because you have to roll out the clay and then you have to start cutting proportionate slime, but you don't want it symmetrical. You almost want it to look like everything fell there. This is going to be your blueprint. You're going to put the slime on and then stack off of that and then smooth it. It's kind of like the same steps I'm learning is like, you know, you build what you want to build, then smooth it. You add this little piece, then smooth it. And then occasionally you'll have to use Sculpey if you need something to stick on and, you know, bake and bond. Originally, when I first seen the sculpture being made on TikTok, I noticed that she baked it in different parts, but I wondered what my sculpture would look like if instead of baking it in different parts, I did it all in one section. Now, this is not some like super thick sculpture. Like, this is about 1 inch and like a 1/4 inch. Like, this is not thick at all. If it looks thick on camera, it's about the size of 1 inch. So I figured, let's bake it all in one piece, because when I baked it in the other pieces, it was hard to go back on what I've already made because it had already solidified. So right here, I kind of messed up. I wanted to try a new method for doing my slime. I said, maybe I can trace it and do like multiple layers. But I feel like the amount of clay that I had, it was too thin. So then I started cutting out each piece of slime and putting it on in its own individual part. It slowly started to come together, but I did have to add additional clay to the slime at the top. I keep calling it slime, but I don't mean to say that, guys. I'm used to working with slime because of the journals, but this is just really a melting candle. And a lot of people said it looked like dreads. That's so funny. Yeah, fuck y'all. So I had to bring over my other sculpture, Mr. Worry Wart. And this one is not done at all. It's literally just there. I sculpted it, I burned it in the oven, and I didn't paint it. Mainly because I didn't get around to it, but also because I was like, you know what? This is an authentic memory. Like, this is my first clay sculpture ever. I feel like as an artist, if you sell your first piece, it's kind of like bad luck on like the whole collection. I don't know. Have you guys ever heard that? Anyway, now that I have brought Mr. Worry Wart over to the table, it was a lot easier to see how the slime, I keep calling it slime, how the drips were made originally. I know y'all seen that crash and boom, and y'all are probably asking, girl, what was that? You see me stand my iPad back up? Girl, why did I crack my iPad? Y'all know, anytime I'm minding my business, filming, and I'm trying to be productive, something always breaks. Last time I was making body butters, my camera fell straight inside. Then my lighting fell straight on my iPad and freaking cracked it. Luckily, it was the screensaver. Once I peeped, well, I didn't notice till like a day later, but I was just like a lot less worried once I peeped that it was my screensaver. Anywho, let's get back into these drips because that disrespectful light wanted to fall out of line. No, literally fall out of line. And it's just so crazy because I know we said we were off this topic, but I have like one more thing to say. So like my room literally has an earthquake like every other day because my room is white. What is white? My room is right by the washer and the whole room will start to just shake, shake, shake. Next thing you know, my little arts and crafts or everything I'll have hung up, it'll start to shake and rattle as well. But I guess that shake was too much and it bounced my light onto my iPad. So this is not my fault. It had nothing to do with me. It was literally a micro earthquake. So hush. Okay, now back to the sculptures. So we're going around the rim of the head, making little noodle like movements with the clay. And we're putting it along the rim of the head and then flattening the top. Now that the hard part is behind us, let's see the finished product. Now let's see if the arms can support jewelry. I put the jewelry on, I put it on a tall shelf closest by to me, and yes, it did indeed hold the crystal jewelry. We are now nearing the end of the video. If you guys see any jewelry pieces in this video that you liked or sculptures, you guys are now able to go shop them on our website. Thank you for watching. Bye!